My husband once handed me a permission to stray agreement. It was a cold clinical piece of paper with one particularly grotesque clause. He was allotted 12 incidents of infidelity per year. Any unused credits would be converted into a cash payout at the end of the fiscal year. I didn't scream. I didn't throw a glass. I simply offered him a faint practice smile and signed my name in elegant cursive. From that day on, I became the ghost of his penthouse. I was the one who stripped the silk sheets after his guests left, the one who bleached the scent of foreign perfume out of his Tom Ford shirts, and the one who stocked the bedside drawer with the finest Italian prophylactics. It took care of him and his revolving door of mistresses with the kind of devotion usually reserved for the dying. Those women loved to parade their youth in front of me. They'd whisper just loud enough for me to hear, mocking the high school sweetheart who had withered into a hollowed-out trophy wife. They thought they were winning. They thought they were the reason Stephen stayed. I endured every insult with a spine of steel. I never cried, and I never sought revenge in the arms of another man. I just waited. Every year, I quietly accepted the $36 million payout for his unused indiscretions. I hoarded that money like a dragon in a cave. I was waiting for the clock to run out. Every second of every day, I was praying for Stephen Blackwood to die. There was one thing he didn't know, though. His latest blood work. It had already come back positive for HIV. Incident number 68. The sickening rhythmic sounds from the master suite finally faded into a heavy silence. I swallowed my dose of PEP, the post-exposure prophylaxis I took religiously, and pulled on a pair of medical-grade latex gloves. Only then did I dare push the door open to scrub away the remains of his afternoon tryst. A second later, the frosted glass door of the walk-in shower slid open. Stephen emerged, shirtless and radiating a dark, satisfied energy. He had his arm looped around a young girl who looked like she could barely stand on her own 2 feet. God, I told you it was my first time, she whimpered, a half-smile playing on her lips. You didn't have to be so rough. It was Leslie'd say, the new intern at the firm. She was fresh, radiant, and sharp, like a rose that hadn't realized its thorns were being clipped. They were flirting, lost in their own world, until Stephen's eyes landed on me. The warmth in his gaze vanished instantly, replaced by a chilling frost. You're fast today, he noted dryly. He reached for his wallet, pulled out a black Amex, and tossed it onto the tangled sweat-stained sheets. There was a small dark smear of blood near the pillow. Get the most expensive thread count you can find to replace these. Use the rest to buy yourself a couple of Birkins. His voice carried the casual dismissiveness of a man tossing a coin to a beggar. I walked over, moved with a numbness that had become my second skin, and picked up the card. I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. Because Stephen had no idea. 6 months ago, I had intercepted the medical report of his 67th mistress. Positive. I hadn't said a word. Instead, I spent my days in a state of quiet, prayerful observation, waiting until the day I finally got my hands on Stephen's own secret labs. Positive. We were the golden couple of the city. We had built an empire together. After 7 years of marriage, I never thought I'd be the one counting the days until his funeral. 7 years ago, Stephen had used half of my family's estate as seed money to become the king of the Chicago tech scene. Back then, he had knelt before me, swearing I was the only woman he would ever see. He once flew 12 hours through a blizzard, just because I mentioned I missed the way he made pasta carbonara. But as soon as my father's business collapsed, the man who worshipped me disappeared. In his place was a stranger who handed me an infidelity contract and turned me from a queen into a janitor for his sins. If love could be faked, then I would win an Oscar. I would play the doting, pathetic wife until he was bled dry. The countdown was in its final month. I was one step away from total annihilation. Finish up here. I have a call, Stephen said, his phone buzzing. He gave Leslie'd say a lingering deep kiss, ignored me entirely, and disappeared into his study. The vast bedroom fell silent, leaving me alone with Leslie'd say. She didn't even try to cover herself. Instead, she sat at my vanity, picking up my expensive serums and slathering them onto her neck, the same neck Stephen had just been biting. I forced a smile. If you like them, take the whole set. Leslie'd say looked at me through the mirror, her eyes full of a cruel, youthful triumph. At least you know your place. What was it they called you? The high school sweetheart, honey. You are just a relic now. She leaned back, admiring her reflection. Stephen told me that since I gave him my